What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Rob's Arcade. Hang tight, don't go anywhere. Got a great show coming up for you in just a minute. Be right back.
Rob's Arcade, Rob's Arcade, where the games get played and the games get saved so they can be played on another day. Rob's Arcade.
All right. Yo, what up, though? Welcome back to Rob's Arcade. Like I said, I'm your host, Mr. Robert, hanging out here for a little Monday motivation. Just a little segment where I kind of hang out with you guys, see how you're doing, see how your weekend was, and just to give you a little something to help push you through the week, because we all know sometimes that push can be just a little bit tough, especially this last week. It's been a little bit hard myself getting motivated from time to time. It's just been a rough week in general, just a lot going on at work. I feel like every weekend I've got some kind of an event, a teen event, or some kind of a teen experience event going on, like every Friday. And then sadly we had to put our dog down this week. Just wasn't doing too hot, and that was really, truly unexpected. I don't think it's ever easy, really, but I just remember the last time I went through something like this, I had more time to kind of prepare and, I don't know, just get myself kind of used to the idea and I need to get a haircut, that whole situation. I think if I'm not mistaken, we even kind of like scheduled an appointment, set a day, had our time to make peace. Tuesday, took our little guy to the vet. My mom and sister did, and as I'm getting ready for work, just got a really, really devastating phone call that the vet was concerned and thinking it's time we start looking at, just how comfortable the dog is and what's in his best interest. And as I'm getting off the phone with my sister Tuesday morning, I'm realizing that Monday night was the last chance I had to kind of hang out with Rodeo and spend a little time with them. And it was very fortunate that I got that moment, but it was also a little heartbreaking knowing that would be, in fact, the last moment that we could just spend with him. I wasn't up when they went to the vet. I had literally just kind of gotten up and started getting ready, so I didn't have a chance to really even see him off or see him leave the house. And it was, I don't know, a bit of a coincidence that I just happened to be up Monday night. They've been doing a lot of road work just outside our neighborhood, and I was kind of up and about just with all the trucks and the bulldozers and things making noises. I was kind of up and about, I feel like around 1 o'clock I'd gotten up to use the restroom. Let me go ahead and pause. But yeah, so anyway, with construction and the road work going on, I was kind of up and about. I decided to run to the restroom, and as I was heading back to my room and getting settled, I could hear Rodeo kind of pacing around the house, and that was something we'd kind of noticed too over the last few days. It went from not being able to get him up at all to him not being able to get comfortable, not being able to lay down for more than just a couple of moments at a time, and then he'd get up and move around again. And it was just you could tell he was not feeling great. He was not comfortable at all. So I found him at 1 o'clock in the morning kind of doing the same thing. He was by the front door as if he wanted to go out, possibly not even to use the restroom, possibly just to go walk off and lay down somewhere by himself, But I tried to get him to go out with all the trucks and everything. He didn't really want to seem to go out front. He just went back and laid down in his bed. So I decided to take a few minutes and just lay down in his bed with him and just kind of talk to him for a few moments. You know, let him know that I loved him and I cared about him, and just, you know, rub his head to try to make him feel better. And I thought going to the vet would be a situation where they might give him some medicine, do a little something to maybe make him feel a bit more comfortable, and then possibly after that visit start looking at what it might look like for the next step. But I figured that was like a little ways off. And I don't know, I was just really shocked to find that it was a lot sooner than, of course, I had first anticipated. So needless to say, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I mean, even today, you know, it's like each day is just a little bit tougher. You know, you wake up on even like a Saturday morning, and it's, you know, those are the days where mom's working and I'm kind of hanging out with him more myself. And, you know, we just had my first Saturday without him. And it really hits, you know, you kind of get up in the morning and you have a certain routine that you're used to. And then all of that gets disrupted, and it's just a reminder that, you know, he's not here, he's not around. And as much as you anticipate and look forward to him walking into the room, it's just a reminder that, you know, he's not going to. Oh, all right, what was I? I think I was just talking about rodeo when I last hopped off here. And I mean, it's been difficult for myself. You know, this is like the first real weekend after the fact of having to put him down. And it's like I said, one of those things where I kind of start my day Saturday and Sunday with my mom being at work, just kind of taking him out, taking him for a walk, you know, making sure he's been fed and all of that stuff. And it was one of those kind of hard reminders this past weekend as I got up and was doing my thing Saturday and Sunday that, you know, he just wasn't there. I think it's been hardest on my mom because that's just been her little, like, for lack of a better term, ride or die buddy. And, you know, they spent their waking moments together. I mean, he slept in her bed, so I know it's been super tough on her, and as frustrating as my mom can be sometimes, and as short as I can be and have been with her in the past. I've been trying really hard. That's been my motivation this past week. It's just been trying really hard to be there for her, be more understanding, and try to be, you know, more aware and sympathetic of, you know, what people are going through and what they're dealing with. And, you know, sometimes there's little things that kind of get under my skin. I still can't understand for the life of me why nobody in the house can just use the kitchen faucet correctly. It just blows my mind. It's not a knob, it's a lever, but for some reason it's got to be turned all the way to the left to turn it off. When really it's just a simple matter of pulling it forward and backwards, people. It's not that difficult, but it seems to be almost impossible idea to grasp. But as frustrating as it is every time I go in the kitchen having to fix a faucet, I have to remind myself that maybe it's not really worth it to even say anything. It's not going to change anything. And when somebody's already got so much like weighing on them, just adding one more little piece of stress or one little more, just little nagging little thing, it could just be too much, you know, it could just be too much for somebody. So that's really been my motivation and kind of been on the forefront of my mind, is just trying to take into consideration, what other people might be feeling, what they might be going through, and trying to give them their space and their room. And, just kind of realize at the end of the day, perhaps, maybe it is frustrating to me. Maybe it does get under my skin. Maybe it is a pain in my butt. But is it worth it? Is it worth stomping around the house or slamming pots and pans or slamming doors or mumbling profanities under my breath? Is it really worth any of that at the end of the day? I don't think so. So maybe, I don't know, you can kind of take that little nugget there and kind of run with that for the rest of your week. When you feel like, oh man, I've been telling so-and-so every day since we've been in the same office that this goes there, that goes, maybe it doesn't really matter, and maybe so-and-so at the office has a lot of BS they're at home dealing with. And it doesn't really matter to them where the stapler goes or where the packing tape is supposed to be put back. It's like there are far more important things in the world, people. I guess is what I'm getting at. And sometimes you don't realize it. You take those things for granted until you wake up one Tuesday morning and you realize, your day's not going to go quite the way you thought it would. And that's, maybe the important thing to keep in mind there, to remember. Let's see what else. Oh, this past Friday was Friday the 13th. Hopefully everybody went out and got their $13 tattoo. I'm saving my next tattoo experience. I know what my next tattoo is going to be. I thought about going to get a Friday the 13th tat. I said, no, I'm going to wait. I want my next piece. I already got an idea. I know it's going to be dedicating it to my trip to Blue Ridge. And I don't want to just get another tat just to get another tat, But we did watch some Friday the 13th movies. That's always a great, it's awesome. I'm jumping into my horror thing, kind of got some sci-fi movies going on. So there's been some potential for some creepies and some crawlies, some eight-legged freaks or some alien type stuff, And I was like, let's take a little break. It's perfect. Take a little break, jump into some Friday the 13th. Had a lot of fun watching those. It's great, it's so funny. I spent years watching those movies, and the whole reason I started doing these little testimonials and talk with you guys is, I was trying to get away from the drinking and trying to get my life back on track, and I thought just talking with you guys would help. But it's so funny. It's it's one of those things, since I've stopped even drinking, stupid movies like Friday the 13th, Child's Play, all these goofy movies that I've watched over the years. And I guess, just watching them over the holiday seasons, during Halloween and stuff. And, tying one on as I'm watching them, because, it's fun. The characters are getting drunk and getting all effed up. It's yeah, why not do the same? And it's not, I don't know. It's just not worth it. I'm going back watching these movies, sober, and I'm actually enjoying. You would think you gotta be really drunk to enjoy some of the original Friday the 13th, but it's not true. I actually find myself enjoying them more sober. I don't know if it's just because you start drinking, watching the movies, next thing you know, you're too intoxicated, you don't even realize you're not paying attention, you don't know what's going on. By the time you start part 3, you're almost blacked out. Going back and watching them now, I'm wow, man, there's some cool cinematic moments in them. Even watching, I think it was Child's Play. I kind of had a very sentimental moment with it, just watching it because it's a mom and a son story. How it's usually just my mom and I, we've lived together, the two of us off and on. And you would think again, you would have to be really intoxicated to get emotionally moved by Child's Play, but that wasn't the case at all. I found myself really getting wrapped up in it between the two characters of the mom and the son. And I don't know, it's pretty, I don't know, I just find it's pretty interesting to me. It's like every time I watch some of these movies, even though I've seen them like 1,000 times, even this past week, just watching these movies, it's like watching them for the first time all over again. We had a really cool movie night actually on Friday the 13th at my work. I put together a teen Tuckahoe kind of like slumber party movie night where the kids could like bring their pajamas and blankets and just kind of hang out and watch a movie in the new teen space. I had my senior leaders there with me kind of hanging out, helping me run things. It was just a really cool turnout. We didn't do any Friday the 13th movies, although I actually watched a few leading up to Friday, of course, because there's so many. And like trying to find, like, there's got to be one that's like mildly appropriate, right? Like that's like kind of appropriate for like 12, 13-year-olds. And it's like, nope, there's not a single. Like I feel like some of the Freddy movies you could almost get away with it, like Freddy like 5 or 6 or something like that maybe. But yeah, when it comes to Jason, there's no skirting around it. Way too much nudity, too much gore, too much cussing, drug references, alcohol stuff. Like it's just not appropriate at all. So we watched Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. It was a pretty cool night. It's pretty cool. It's like my dad, used to put together movie nights for me and my sister, and here I am. I might not have kids myself, but here I am, 4 years old or some change, doing the same thing for the teens in the community. All right, guys. Well, I don't know. I suppose the message and takeaway from today's video is that, life is short, life is unexpected, and, just not to take things for granted, not to take people for granted. I know from time to time things seem like they're important, and at the end of the day, I think what's really important is just taking the time and enjoying the time with those that we do have. Ironically, Friday the 13th, the movie series, is one of those that kind of is, in some ways, if not perhaps that particular movie itself, some of these movies that deal with these like teenagers who go out camping, or these Final Destination type movies, the Freddy Kruegers and all of those, always deal with the young teenager sort of passing and coming to terms with what death is and what it's all about. And for me growing up, that was, I remember being a very young age, and kind of realizing just how fleeting life was, and then especially coming to terms with Brandon Lee when he passed away while actually filming a movie. Kind of realizing that, wow, like, nothing really is forever, and we just take a lot of this stuff for granted. So if there's any takeaway from the video this week, is that, again, life is short, life is fleeting, and not to take it for granted, not to take those for granted around you, and just to really enjoy the time with those that you have. I want to thank you for hanging out and enjoying some time with me as we, kick off another week here. Appreciate you guys always for hanging out with me and taking this time to just catch up and just spend a little time. Let me know how you guys are doing down in the comment section down below. Love to hear from you guys. Just let me know what you're up to. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And just remember to take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. And until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. See you guys.